Hey everyone, Corrie here coming in to do the energy update for October the 4th, following us all the way into the mid of next week. And so this energy update is following on the heels of all that has transpired after the full moon energy. And as we're about to move into a new shift that is happening. And it's as if I believe around the 7th, the 6th, the 7th, you may start feeling some changes happening. And especially for those who I feel like have um, a lot of fire in your chart, I feel like you may be really noticing this. It feels as if there's a change in the tides, is the only way I can describe it. As if, how high the water comes, it's like the water's going out. It's just, there's just something that is bringing about a change. Now, I myself personally this morning has set with every every level of emotional response that could possibly transpire during this day. And transpire is one of the big words coming up. The other word is that self-actualization and that sense of that being pushed to, meet that potential. And as I sat deep into meditation this morning and I dropped into my heart, I often stay in the heart and I felt myself drop down into the power. I felt myself fall into this power and into this powerful sense of being and knowing within ourselves. And then I was fortunate enough to come out and discover one of the people that I do follow a lot and discovered his meditation. And he does a lot of heart-centered meditations. And I felt myself even during his meditation that I was not existing in the heart, like I was leaving the heart's energy. And I could feel myself going into the solar plexus. And for those who are newbies, who don't know or doesn't really work with energy centers like chakra energy centers, the solar plexus is where our will exists. It's where that sense of it's where our power is. It's above what we call the sacral and below the heart. So it's the in between. It also exists in the place of where we have our beautiful golden light. And a part of the ascension process and a part of growing and healing and awakening is recognizing how much of our will has influenced the life that we live, and that it is our choices that direct us into how we emotionally feel, how we emotionally respond. And a big part of what I do is I have taken my abilities as a channel, as a medium, as a trance healer, all of those things that I do, and bringing it into how does it help us in this lifetime? How can it be of service to us? And how can we step deeper into that sense of our bigger self and not put our big girl panties on or our big boy pants on, about our bigger self? What is bigger than us? And sometimes it feels as if the emotions are bigger than us and the emotions are a response. So I help people emotionally and spiritually evolve beyond the stories, to grow, to evolve, to see life in a new way. And that's where more than existing comes in. More than existing was created because I start to recognize I matter. We all matter. And it's not about the divide, but the fact that we all really truly do matter. We're not that damn special. There's nothing that makes us any different than anyone else, but we all have a level of authenticity. And so many things have been transpiring and working through us for so many years. And as I sat this morning, and as I sat in this energy, and I feel this somber, as if I'm being like rocked, like a newborn baby. That's what I feel. I feel like I'm being held. Is that feeling of when I stepped into that will? It was that sense of I just felt that need, that want, that there was something inside of me that was just like, it would be so easy. Life would be so easy if you just close down your work. If you just so focused on just being comfortable and just leave the business, leave the things behind and just exist in that world. But more than existing, also means the power of, because to exist, that sense of I exist means I am, the power of I am. And what I'm recognizing with all of this is that much of our lives and much of even my personal life was created out of that emotional response to respond to the things such as, you make people feel so comfortable. We're so comfortable around you. You help people. What you do just helps so many people. And then it just makes you get this feel good feeling. But is it all about the life that is really for us? And that's coming up all over this energy. It's like, how many times and how many things have you become, because we make our choice. We choose the emotion, and we choose to emotionally respond from that emotion. And how many times in your life are you chasing or creating the life out of that sense, that desire of manifesting what the unhealed self really truly has been seeking forever? And will you ever be satisfied? And we are such an unsatisfied society, world, because we're always hungry, and we're always hungry for more, and it's just never enough. And we can convince ourselves all that we want, that we are, it's like, oh, I just need more, or if I only have this, if I only have that. And the more of that, if only I had, if only I could be, if only, this happens. So every time you get it, it's not enough. It's the same thing as a relationship. Is you may fall in love with someone's kind, sweet heart, but once you got them, they're not exciting enough. They don't fulfill you enough. They got this problem, they got that problem, because we seek and search a reason why for us to keep digging, for us to keep building and this network into the bisque of not the unknown, but deeper into being lost within ourselves. And not lost in the way of I'm going to go seek and find myself, but I'm going to go seek and find something outside of myself to satisfy this. And this includes sometimes the arguments, the disagreements, the pointing fingers, all of those things. And this energy is speaking to me in such a way that, this is what has transpired from the hungry ghost. That which is that of the past, that sense of what we never got met, the unmet needs, the things that have taken us furthest away from what true, authentic happiness is. And I've been really, really watching and paying attention as myself, just not as the channel, just not allowing the guides and the angels, but walking in this world with my eyes wide open, with my senses turned up on like extreme, so that I could hear the uncomfortable, so that I could see the things that make me uncomfortable, so that I could feel the world, because I have learned that it's okay to feel. And the language and the conversations and the things that I hear, I can feel something happening within my body that just says, oh, and it comes all the way back to my yearly prediction. And my yearly prediction speaks about, and I don't remember if I ever showed this picture of how it appeared to me, but this sinister energy that most doesn't even know exists within. And we all have that. And when you eradicate it, when you can actually finally dissolve it, to remove it, is that you recognize, to meet your true soul's potential, your divine destiny comes from such a place of self-discovery that you recognize that you were never, ever that self. And that you may have been chasing and diving so deep into trying to discover, to heal an ouch, to heal the wounds. But sometimes that healing of the ouch and the wounds, you've been running away from actually stepping into the wound, stepping into that wound that's there, stepping into what it means to truly embark upon the journey to free yourself. And so the motives, and it's kind of that mixed blessing of that I can hear, feel, sense everything beyond, and I can see these things. And as I stepped into that will this morning, I always see my own self. I don't look at the world. I look at even my own self. I just looked at everything that I have been creating and the whys behind it and where it has taken me and how it has brought me to a place of recognizing, am I happy? Is there a sense of fulfillment to this? And then I had to go to the physical body in my pain, in the physical pain in my body as I am waiting for surgery. And I had to really sit with this nervous system. And I just recognized that from the moment I have been born, from the moment that, not born, but the moment that I've been kind of able to step out into the world when emotions are born, when your emotional state of being starts to develop in life, and when the spiritual sense of being then starts to come online, when that sense of independence starts to come online. Since I found myself, pushing myself to be independent before my time of being even able to be independent, was that sense of having to make sure it was always in survival mode, making sure that I had enough to survive, fighting for clients, not in this industry, but in my old industry, in the beauty industry, making bare minimal, but doing what I loved, using my creative ability as a hairstylist, but starting out, all those years ago, barely being able to live, barely being able to survive, but then telling myself on the other side of that, but I make people feel good. But I make people feel good, and I'm so good at it, and I'm very good at what I do, and I'm good in my industry. And I could feel a sadness come on for all those versions of myself. And then I had to recognize that sadness is not for those previous versions. That sadness is present in me right now. And if that sadness is present in me right now, what is in my right now that I'm sad about? And what is that sad? What does that sad represent? And so the message takes us all the way through, because if this is my message, it's the message of the energy that you have as the tides go out and as our candles has been simmering and our flame comes back up, is that we can see the areas within of where we have been, unable to sometimes recognize that we have been existing so deeply in our survival and in that sense of surviving. And that sense of survival often leads you to creating the narratives and the stories that takes away some of the places where happiness did exist. But when you are so caught in having to make a choice that always takes you back to safety, is you recognize a lot of things in life you have missed out on. And not that it's not too late to live, but the power of more than existing I am is to come to the place to recognize that we are here to feel alive. We are here to be alive. And that means to feel our experiences, to live in our world. But we have made our choices and we choose these things. And we have made a lot of choices in our lives that nobody made that choice but us, whether we chose to stay in not healthy relationships, whether we chose to back out of things or step into things, whatever it may be. And it's because we're trying to meet this sense of potential, meet this sense of self-actualization, to realize who we are, yet we have no idea who and what we are. We don't see this sense of this bigness of us. And there is a bigness of us. And this bigness of us is as if it's like, people say to me, I wish I could see an aura. You are the aura. You are the aura. You are the energy of your own existence. You are the powerful force that is here, that you keep seeking, that you keep looking into everything and anything other than the own reflection, because even your mirror will tell you a lie. You ever stand in a long mirror and get up close and you notice you look right fat, like you look wider than ever before, and then you back up and then you look right thin? So if you stood in front of that mirror and the only thing that that mirror ever showed you was that you were super tall and thin, and that was the only reflection you could see, you would believe that reflection because it's all that you would know. And when our lives is built on all that we look into and all that we know, and we refuse to look any other place, we will believe a story and a narrative that'll keep us content. But does it keep us happy? Because that sense of only seeing that tall and skinny reflection, there is something bigger beyond that reflection. And then when health is going down and you're wondering why, and you tell yourself, well, I can eat whatever I want and I never gain weight because I'm only looking in that mirror. But the body is unhealthy. The sluggish is happening. The toxicity is inside. The everything in the body is slowing down. But yet your vision is telling you one story. And you don't look down, you don't look up, you don't look out, you don't look in another reflection, you don't look anywhere else. You just stay deep into what you're seeing, what you're knowing, what you've been told by this reflection. But if you were to move, if you were to look, if you were to have to face a truth, if you were have to see things differently, if you were to not to know, if you didn't have the backing, the background, the education, the knowledge, all of those things, what would you have? If you didn't have the how-tos, what would you have? You would have you. Because the one thing you would have known would have been to stand and to survive. And you would have done anything to survive. That anything to survive, that anything that you become is a part of the big. But there's a greater consciousness that is connected to that big. And that greater consciousness is what is trying to speak to us all. And that greater consciousness is telling us to look at what we choose and to look deeper at our choices, to ignite the fire, the flame that gives us the to why we keep fighting for ourselves. And so when we say, oh, I don't believe in myself, if you didn't believe in yourself, you wouldn't have fought so hard to be where you are. We do, but what self are we promoting? What self is leading the way? And what is the deeper why behind that? One of my things I always say is always ask yourself why. Why do I want that? Why do I believe that? And so a part of me, just had that sensation of seeing everything leaving. If I was not a business owner, if I didn't have to worry about money, if I didn't have to pay the bills, if I didn't have to catch up, if I never had to do this, what choices would I make? Where would I be? What would I do? Where would I exist? If everything was simply that simple, if everything had transpired from that state of being, if I wasn't told over and over that you've got to make sure you do this, you've got to make sure you do that, would I have been led by human or led by God? And if we allow ourselves to be led by God, by source, by creator, by the divine, whatever language you use, doesn't matter to me, has no impact upon me. Whatever language you use, if you were to be led by that thing that is bigger than us, by the energy that just moves us, that just happens. When we say, I don't know how that happened, but it just happened. If we were living and existing more in that, what kind of space, what kind of world would we belong to? What kind of space would you exist within yourself? If you could spend more time sitting on the rocks, contemplating, and then bringing the contemplation into less hours of the creating, what would that look like? If you stepped into a relationship and you were all in love, and then all of a sudden you found out there's something wrong with them, you start to find all their little quirks and their snores and they chew too loud. And instantly that reflection turned back on you, and ask yourself, what's really annoying you? What's really bugging you? Do you really believe you're that much better than that person that you're judging? Do you really think that that person, like you believe that that person has a quirk, but you don't? And that you can't accept somebody else's quirks, but you want the world to accept yours? Think about it, and think long and hard about it. And if you had to do that and you had to spend time in that, what would our world look like? Would we be living in a world of less of a lot more? Less of a lot of the things that have taken us to places that has brought forth this actualization that we don't have to emotionally, spiritually grow up to become these great beings, to do great things, to, be something in this world? Or would we have emotionally and spiritually grown and then stepped into creating a beautiful life and a beautiful world? And this has come at such a pivotal point in my life. And this energy and this turning of the tides means that we're going to have a lot more land to work with, like a lot more ground work, a lot more things that we're going to be able to see, a lot more things that we're going to be able to do. But this span is only here. This shift is only happening for a period of time. We have a period of time to do these things. So if we've been caught in the angst and the anxiety and making these harsh, rash decisions and jumping ship and doing all these things and just feeling this, I'm going to jump into this now, I'm going to do it this, is that maybe the pause is needed. Maybe the reflection, maybe you need to look in a new way at the way that we see things, the way that we exist, and where the power is coming from. And what is the power that you are responding to? Is it the old emotional response that has been trapped and stuck, that is circling and circulating around? Or is this the possibility of an expanded emotional response? Who and what is speaking? And where are you speaking from? Because an unhealed heart is not the place that should be making our choices and decisions. There is another heart. There is another way. And there's a space above our heart. It's called the high heart. That space above connects to the divine. When we clear the energy, when we clear the thoughts and we clear our head, when we clear the mind, we can sit, and we can sit with that, sit at the seat of our own soul, to build a relationship with the soul and with that self, and to really truly ask ourselves, what am I to do? Who am I to be? What is my true heart's desire? What do I wish to be? And then listen. And so it feels as if the last few years, the universe has stripped away everything, as if I've been stripped down and took to the bottom of the ocean. Now that the tides are going out, it feels as if you're coming back up. I'm like, oh, I'm sitting on shore, as if I've finally come to shore somehow. And I really wanted to share this message, because I'm sure this message somehow possibly must connect, or else I wouldn't have felt the desire to sit here to record, to sit here to share this message, to bring this message forth. And so this is not typical, and most of my messages this past year probably have not been typical to what you're used to. But I speak for the divine. I speak on behalf of the essence of that divine self, or the divine beings. There's something greater than us. And this greater than us is ready to hold us. And when I think of greater than us, in the moment that I just reached my hand back, I felt Archangel Gabriel. And Archangel Gabriel will push us in the areas where we try to tell ourselves we can't go. And a lot of things that we tell ourselves we can't do is, when you get that call to just say, I'm done doing that. Oh, you can't do that. That'll never work. You'll never survive if you do that. If you make that choice, you'll never make it. It'll never happen. But yet everything in your heart is saying, that's the way that I know I need to go. even though I'm not prepared, even though I don't have the details, even though I haven't studied it, even though I don't have it, I know that's where I have to go. And that's what I have to do. And that's my projection. And I need to go that way. Why? I don't know. And there's such a beauty to that not knowing, that people actually are afraid of not knowing. They talk about walking into the unknown, but what about not knowing in your mind? What about not having that education? What about not having that sense of knowing, but you trust and you have faith that it will come to you, because your human only has one life. Your soul has existed many places, manywhere. And when the soul speaks to you, when the soul moves you, when you are moved by the divine, when you are moved by something more and something bigger, you are being led. And when you are being led, you're being called upon. And when you are being called upon, your divine destiny takes you to the place of where your potential is met, and where whatever transpires from that point becomes what defines us. It becomes what leads us. It becomes what grounds us and roots us in a deeper truth and a deeper knowing. And we don't look around to see who's going to be the one who's going to activate and trigger those emotions today. We recognize that our emotions and our primal instinctual responses are there for a reason. And it's there to remind us. It's there to be that beacon. And as a light, and as a light that then stands on its shores, that stands on its foundation, it has a deeper level of compassion. Because sometimes you got to beware about what people are actually caring about, and what the why is behind what they care so deeply about. To learn to care to such a level that you have the courage to feel, to look, to notice, to see the impact. That's where life begins to change. And so today we're being asked, and each and every day for this next week, to really look in and to drop from the heart and to drop into this will, drop into this power of self that contributes to those decisions that we make. It is between the sacral, where emotions is created, where we give birth to our ideas, where we give birth to our thoughts. Above that is the heart. The heart, and if it's been a broken heart, an unhealed heart, if you've got these heart stories, if you're a bleeding heart, if you are a murder complex, all of those things. How many times do I hear someone say who can't even care for themselves say, oh, I gotta go I feel so bad, I gotta go take care of this person and take care of that person. You can't even care for yourself. You're not caring for yourself. You can't care for somebody else the way that they need to be cared for, because your modus comes from the sinister energy. It's you still trying to fill up and fuel up on a false sense of self. This self, this place in here, is looking at our choices. Why do I choose to be kind to everyone else and not kind to myself? Why do I need to be seen as that person? Why is meeting that potential so important to me? Why is it to be somebody so important? Why do I not believe that I mattered enough to live the life that would fill my soul, that would have me, smiling? And I always say this, and this is where I got this reminder this morning in this other gentleman's meditation, because this is my statement. I would say, that just made my heart smile. And it's such a truth. When something makes my heart smile, my whole body smiles, my soul smiles. And so does the things that you're living and doing for you in your life make your heart smile? Because I can tell you honestly, a lot of things in my life that I do for myself, not my family, not my husband, not those people I love, and they make my heart smile, not every day, but but how do I make my heart smile? How do you make your own heart smile? Me struggling to get up the stairs? Me struggling to get through life? doesn't make my heart smile. Me showing up and being present and still creating, that makes my heart smile. But the fact that you can barely afford to purchase the things that you need to keep your life running, that doesn't make my life smile. Where did we go wrong? How did we get it so wrong? And how do we get it back right? And it's not asking anyone else, it's asking ourselves. How do I get back on the right side of me? What choices do I have to make? What decisions do I have to make? And even though it may be hard to see and hard to walk and hard to get there, in the end, my goal is for my heart to smile. And if my heart is not smiling, it means I'm not living an authentic life. Because if your heart is not smiling, your heart is your source of survival as a human being. Your connection to that bigger self is here, just like Archangel Gabriel, trying to push us into that sense of drop deeper into self, drop deeper in and look at the power of will, the power of love, and the love of power. I'm going to do that because I deserve that. I'm going to do that because I am that. Who said? Who said? Who's speaking to you? Which version of you is speaking? Which story of the past? Which ghost of the past is still taunting and haunting and not guiding and inspiring? And it's time for us to allow ourselves to step into that place, to show ourselves grace, to show ourselves mercy, and to just spit out that which has us drowning and ignite that within ourselves that gives us a sense of existing in peace, to know the power of I exist, I am. Because I exist, I matter. And because you exist, you matter. And because another exists, they matter. And our words, our lives, everything have the potential to be a much softer, kinder place. But also that we, in our little worlds, nobody else knows what's best for us. Nobody else knows what's right for us. We know. And when your body is speaking, you have to listen. And you can't hear it if you're if you're so busy seeking out those answers, seeking out the how-tos. Listen, listen, listen. There's so much happening. That's what I have for you. That's all I have for you for this month, for this week's message. I feel like this is going to be probably tying into around up until the 20th of October. And I just feel like it's giving us some running room, some playing room to really truly play with our energy, to truly be empowered by our own energy. And I'm sorry, my camera's dark. My camera is not working right. Which is supposed to be my really good camera is all staticky. So I'm back to an older version, which really makes me chuckle because I'm back using an older version of Logitech because the newer version that I had bought sucks. It's not working. It's not good. It has not been good. It doesn't record well. And so I find myself back to using my original Logitech camera, which I chuckle at. So solutions, I'm sure they'll come. But for whatever reason, I'm back with this camera. And so that I could see clearly, even though it doesn't adjust the lighting the way that it should. Yeah, I just feel like there's just Archangel Gabriel just working with us. And my experience with Archangel Gabriel really truly takes us home and takes us all the way home to ourselves so that we're not lost out in the world. We can get lost within us because we know the way home inside of ourselves. We just got to trust that that way home will always will always take us to the right place when we're not being told, when we're not being forced, when we're not told by, ghost of our past, by those, underdeveloped emotional selves. So, and that we can see and exist then within that bigness of us. Don't wait to try to see an aura. See you. See you, see the expansion of you. Because as we move forward, it is truly about embodying and living as the essence of spirit, but spirit came for the human experience. And spirit is pure, spirit is beautiful, spirit is perfect. It has perfection, it has the ultimate love, it has the ultimate wisdom. And if we can't trust that, what do we trust? And if that's not enough for us, when will there be enough for us? Much love. Thank you for being here. And if you love my videos, please subscribe. I'm like having a big little moment today that I was so close to having like 900 people following because I don't buy followers, sorry. And so More Than Existing is my first book. And make sure it has the white on it. If you're going to purchase it on Amazon, go into books. For some reason, since we took it back from the publisher and redid it, you cannot find my book by just putting my name in the search. It'll give you the old book that the printing company has put up to such an astronomical price. It is disgusting. But we took the book back, re-edited it, and we released it again under myself. And so it has the white on top. Go in, if you're going on Amazon, if you go to my website, go to CorrieThorne.com, it'll be your easiest way to find the book, because in there, it'll give you the direct link to get there. My second book is My Truth of Existing Beyond the Reflection. Both books are out. And you can also get the trio if you want to also purchase my Everyday Goddess Oracle cards, which comes with a 5x7 book. Big writing. Everything I do have big writing. And here's the cards. And so if you would like to purchase all three together, you can as a trio pack on my website. And that way you would get all three copies to be signed with a special message just for you. And yeah, so you can go right to CorrieThorne.com to purchase all. Much love. Have a beautiful, beautiful week. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.